Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Call of Duty Weekly Reload. This is a series where we dive into the kind of Call of Duty news that came out over the past week, looking at what is new, what is coming up, and over the past week, we've dove a lot into Season 4, discussing what was coming, what's coming next, and this isn't really going to be that. As you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking, one, about the next Call of Duty title, Call of Duty World War II Vanguard, and how its integration into Warzone is actually going to happen, as it appears to be very, very different than what we saw with Black Ops Cold War in a very big way. So today we're going to be going over that. We're also going to be discussing what is coming later this week in this week's update, and on top of that, a little bit of discussion as to what is going on with Modern Warfare, as there's a little bit of a mystery currently going on within that as well. So there's a lot to talk about here, but for the main part, we're going to be talking about the next Call of Duty World War II Vanguard. And to fully understand this, we have to start back at the very beginning and discuss what is going on with that game in general. So the first news we actually got about Call of Duty World War II Vanguard, or Call of Duty 2021, depending on how you want to look at it, was months ago. We got some leaks telling us that Sledgehammer Games was going to be the people developing the game, and on top of that, they were going to be making a World War II game. This was later essentially confirmed when, during an investors call, they announced that Sledgehammer was going to be working on the next Call of Duty game. Now, we still haven't got an entire theme for the game or an actual set date or anything along those lines, or anything really confirmed by Sledgehammer about the setting, about it being called Call of Duty Vanguard or anything like that. And in fact, the Vanguard as a name is actually a code name, so it may not actually be called that once the game actually comes out. However, VGC released an article a few days ago, it's actually more like a week ago, discussing how this is going to interact with Warzone. Now, I gotta be clear before I dive into this, there is no confirmed evidence, there is no Call of Duty official statement on this, but they have a really good track record, and what they are saying makes a lot of sense, so we can take this with a grain of salt, but it sounds pretty reputable. So what did they actually say? So first thing, the probably most important thing, is they said that Vanguard is going to be integrated within Warzone in a much faster manner and a better and more smooth manner than COD Black Ops Cold War was. And to be clear about that, what they mean by this is, you may remember when Black Ops Cold War was released, the same timing wasn't true for Warzone. It was about a month later when the Black Ops Cold War weapons were actually integrated into the game, and much later than that we got Verdansk 84 actually implemented into Warzone. Now, on top of this, with Verdansk 84, it is not a new map by any means or any measure at all. In fact, it's basically the same Verdansk map that we had before, plus a couple of new locations, a visual change, and that is pretty much it. And my opinion, as a whole, it plays almost identical to how it did before the new map was implemented. Not to mention, yes, they have kind of changed the meta to more focus on the Black Ops Cold War weapons, but other than that, it's the same game that we've been playing for over a year now. Now, with the news that VGC brought out, they essentially said that with Vanguard, or the next Call of Duty game, there would be a brand new map implemented into the game, and it would be focused on the Pacific Theater, so more so focused on a World War II setting. Now, this obviously would be very different than Verdansk as a whole, as Verdansk is kind of like a large city, whereas that would be kind of more spread out, larger distance between locations, and they didn't say for sure, but based off of that description and having a larger map, you would assume that they'd be upping the player count to probably 200, which they've already done within Verdansk for a very, very limited amount of time, but we do know that it is possible for them to do so, and maybe that wouldn't happen right away, but with a larger map, you would assume that they'd also be fiddling around with larger numbers of players. So with them saying that it's going to be integrated faster and more smooth, you would also assume that there would be an earlier reveal date than there was for Black Ops Cold War. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true. I am still kind of looking at late summer for when we're going to get more information on this, and what that leads us to is essentially 2 to 3 options as to when we're going to get more information on this. If we have a look at Season 4 as a whole, there's not a ton of information as to what is happening at the mid-season. One thing that we do know is the new Zombies map is 100% coming at the Season 4 Reloaded, or the mid-season update for Season 4. But that's basically it. We know about a new weapon, the OST-9, and other than that, that is all we know. We haven't heard anything about Warzone, and generally they put some sort of teaser about a mid-season event. So it would make sense for there to be a reveal for World War II Vanguard at around that time, but to me that seems a little bit early. The other two options that we have is the beginning of Season 5 or the mid-season for Season 5. Personally, for me, it seems like the mid-season for Season 5 would be a little bit late, and the reason why I say that is we know that the new Battlefield game is coming out in October, which would lead us to believe if Call of Duty does what they do every year, they're going to be aiming for early November, give a little bit of a break between the Battlefield game that's coming out and then their game releases with the Warzone integration right off the bat. So my best guess would probably be beginning of Season 5, but there is no solid evidence of that. That's just me guessing based off of the dates that we currently have in game. But that is all the information we have as far as this World War II Warzone integration. There's going to be a new map. It's going to be focused on World War II, and this leads to many questions. Will the Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare weapons still be in Warzone, or because they're focusing solely on World War II, will those be removed and solely focus on that World War II setting, World War II weapons, and things along those lines? That is something we don't have an answer to and won't have an answer to until they actually put out a solid statement or we get a really reputable leak. And of course, once that happens, I will keep you guys informed. But that's all the information we have as of right now. Moving into what we know for Black Ops Cold War and Warzone this week. First of all, not a lot of information on Warzone. We don't know what's going to be changing with the playlist, but what we do know is the playlist for Black Ops Cold War. So what we have here is there's going to be Collateral Strike 24/7. So that's the new map, the smaller version of it for 6v6. Also, Hijack 24/7 is returning, 12v12 Mosh Pit, Gunfight 3v3 snipers only, and Face Off 6v6, which is going to be featuring the new Amsterdam map quite frequently as well. The only other information we got was actually about microtransactions and the store bundles that'll be coming over the next week. The first one we have is the Tracer Pack Big Joke 3. So once again, another clown skin. People seem to really like these. We also have the one I'm looking forward to, the Big Brain, the shark blueprint that shoots lightning. I think that'll be pretty fun. We also have the Tagger 2. This is a pretty sweet looking skin if you ask me. And on top of this, it appears as though it's going to be some sort of reactive skin. As you can tell, it's an ultra skin bundle, so that'll be pretty interesting. But other than that, that is pretty much all of the information we have as to what's going on this week. Not much information whatsoever with what's going on in Warzone. So after this, we have the Modern Warfare information, and this is probably the most confusing part of the whole thing. As we've talked about many times on the channel, we still haven't got Soap McTavish, we still haven't got the RAL LMG, and we haven't got the CX-9. All of these are still in the game files and still waiting to be added in, but no news as to when they will actually be coming, or even if they'll actually be coming. They could be some sort of pre-order bonus for Modern Warfare 3 Remastered, or even the next Modern Warfare game, which would literally come out years from now. So it's just as big of a mystery to me as you. The other thing that we got last week was a playlist that was actually Warzone Rumble, but instead of being on Verdansk, it was on Rebirth Island, which is strange because it's the only crossover really that we've seen between Modern Warfare and Cold War directly. We've had Warzone and Modern Warfare, we had Warzone and Cold War, and the crossover with the weapons, but never directly with the Rebirth Island map. So I don't know if that's going to be coming out at some point this season because it was removed shortly after being added, but as of right now, we don't know. So this is all of the information we have as of this week. That's all of the news. Of course, the big one being the World War II Vanguard new map, and that'll be interesting as we get more information on that. But other than that, pretty slow week. We had Season 4 come out, and it'll be interesting to see what comes over the next few weeks. And as we do get more information, especially on World War II Vanguard, I will keep you guys updated. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, all of that good jazz. Let me know what you think of all of this down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're